I'm sorry, Zoom. Apologies. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear you now.
Thank you. 10 days ago, I was in Yemen to meet some of the 4 million people displaced by conflict. I visited one informal settlement that was home to 130 families, only 20 of them receiving any food aid at all. And then it was only when funding was available. I visited a makeshift school. It was made up of 5 small dark rooms. The children were sitting on the floor and they hadn't eaten, nor had the teacher. She was a volunteer. And she told me she walked at least an hour and a half each day to get to that remote place to try to give the kids some hope for the future. Because they had nothing, no food, no pens, no desks, no school books, no salary for the teacher. 13-year-olds were sitting next to 3-year-olds, striving to learn to read and write in a hope for a future that they may never see. I visited another site where displaced families live in flimsy shelters with no income and no food at all. Miles away from any water or sanitation, there are no toilets, no showers, and there was no school. And most of the children, because of the years of conflict, were illiterate. Many young girls being married off, perhaps to spare family another mouth to feed or to receive a dowry that might help the other children in the family to survive. I met a mother who had lost 3 of her children to preventable illnesses. Her son was now sick and in the hospital. And even if the hospital has medicine to treat him, which most don't, she won't have the money to pay for it. So this is the reality of an aid appeal that is drastically underfunded amid a conflict that has gone on for so many years without political solution. So let us be clear, as we all know, we cannot point to anywhere in the world where we're succeeding in deterring aggression or reducing the number of people forced to flee their homes. Last year, the UN humanitarian programs were only half funded. And this year, we're facing unprecedented needs that were rising globally even before the effects of the devastating war in the Ukraine. The UNHCR appeal in Yemen itself is only 9% funded. And on top of its own suffering, Yemen is hosting over 100,000 refugees from Somalia, Syria, Ethiopia, among other countries, without any support. So it is heartbreaking, it is infuriating, and above all, because it is a man-made crisis that must be ended. We all know that aid relief without political solutions does not work. The two have to go hand in hand, always. There is nothing more important for Yemen than to end the conflict, so that the people have a chance to live in safety and dignity, not dependent on aid, which no country or people ever wish to have to rely on. The next pledging conference should be about helping the people of Yemen rebuild and develop their country, not just a meeting about percentages of aid appeal to help only a fraction of the millions of people in desperate need, not to die of hunger and preventable illness. But that is where we're at now. The lack of solutions to conflict and insecurity globally is causing unmanageable levels of human displacement and need, and stretching humanitarian relief to the point that we see in Yemen today. You have an opportunity as governments to address this desperate human emergency and to seek an urgent end to the conflict. I hope you take it, and I implore you to do so. On behalf of the people of Yemen, of the families I met, I thank you so much for your time. Please do what you can.